Greetings, everybody. We're in a new place again this week. I'm in a hotel in New York. I changed hotels. This is my bed. It has curtains. It's literally, I'm going to show you. It is literally like the coziest thing in the entire world. Don't judge the fact that I'm wearing my outside clothes on the bed. Not going to sleep in here again because I'm leaving today to go to... Where the fuck am I going? Oh, Paris. It's nearly Paris Fashion Week time again. The dreaded Paris Fashion Week. I love it. Last time I was there, genuinely was worried for my sanity. If you guys remember that, that was so fun, wasn't it? Yes. So hopefully not another repeat of that. I am feeling marginally more stable than I was the last time that I was there, so that's good. Fingers crossed. No, I'm feeling good about it. I'm excited. Honestly, this whole nomad thing that I'm on right now, like I moved out of my house almost a month ago, kind of. I moved out of my house on the 12th of February. It's now early March. So I'm filming this on the 5th of March. Don't come at me when you see that this is uploaded on the 6th of March. I know the whole discipline thing. I'm working on it, okay? I will always be last minute. But you will be relieved to know that this morning, I had not one, not two, not three, but 4 interviews with potential assistants. Yes, I am finally getting my shit together. I am going to get an assistant. This is the year. This is the year of me. But yeah, basically, I'm finally getting a fucking assistant because like this cannot go on. It cannot go on. If I mean to move forth with discipline and structure, I'm going to need to implement certain things that support that, okay? One of them being an assistant. I've never really had a proper assistant before. I know, what the fuck? I don't know. I also don't have management, which most people who are in a similar place to me doing similar things to what I do, they have a manager, an assistant, an agent, everything. I don't. I have a team of agents. They're the people that book you paid work, but I'm just so close with them, and they've been on my team since like the first fucking month of me doing social media. I'm with UTA. I love them, and it's always just kind of been me and them against the world, but now it's just getting to a point where I need someone full-time that's as dedicated to this as I would like to be. You know what I mean? I think that it will bode well for all of us. Sorry, my lips feel crusty. So I had 4 meetings this morning with potential assistants, and I really liked all of them, I'll be honest. It's going to be really hard to choose. Like, I genuinely have never had such a great problem before where I'm like, I don't know which one I would rather have as my assistant because I love all of them. Kind of stuck between one that is very like, oh, you're like ready to build an empire. Okay, wonderful. Don't know if I can keep up. / I think you might go crazy working for me. And then the other one who is very much like, oh, I would be so stable with you. And then maybe I could hire the empire kind of person a couple months from now when we've got some real structure. But then I'm like, why do I always take the long road? Maybe it's time to take... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's not interesting. We're going to cut that out anyways. So yeah, had those interviews this morning, feeling great about it. Then I went to another flat viewing. Guys, it was an incredible apartment, and I did something crazy. So let me walk you through. So I'm going to have to take you on a deep, dark journey really quick to explain the decision I made, why I chose not to put an offer on the flat I saw an hour ago. And this story starts on Bleecker Street in 2014. But it wasn't me on Bleecker Street in 2014. No, it was Sabrina Carpenter. When I was 12 or 13 years old, I went on holiday with my family to Florida. If you've heard this story before, I'm sorry. Skip over it. But I'm going to have to retell it. I was 12, maybe 13, on holiday with my family in Florida. First time I'd ever had access to the Disney Channel. And I see Sabrina Carpenter on my screen playing Maya Hart in Girl Meets World, Bleecker Street Station. She's wearing 7 different garments of an outfit going to school. And I was like, who is that? Who is that? I'm gonna devote my life to her. And I did. And I was so fixated on her. I just, like, the second that I saw Girl Meets World, I was like, what is this? Because I'm not going to go through all this. It's fucking boring. We all know. But I was not in school because I had very bad mental health and I was very anxious and I couldn't really go out the house. And actually that trip to Florida was very taxing on my mother and I's relationship because I did not want to leave the hotel room because I was terrified because I had like basically agoraphobia at this point, never left the house. And then suddenly I was in fucking Florida, shit scared. And then I see Sabrina Carpenter on the TV and I'm like, now I'm definitely not going outside because this is in the room. I don't know if you know. Anyway, I then I just listened. So then years go by. I'm Sabrina Carpenter's biggest fan. She drops the album. It's called Eyes Wide Open. When did she drop this album? In 2015. Wow. Okay, in 2015, she drops the album Eyes Wide Open. Sabrina Carpenter, the pop star, no longer Maya Hart, Sabrina Carpenter. And at this point, I'm an avid fan. I know every single song, bar for bar, on this fucking album. I would not miss a beat. I would bet my life on it. If ever that one scary circumstance came about where someone held a gun to my head and said, you're gonna have to recite a song perfectly, otherwise we're gonna kill you, any song off this entire fucking album, give it to me. I'm living forever. So my obsession with Girl Meets World, the show that Sabrina Carpenter was on Disney Channel, was so deep to me because I wasn't in school and the whole premise of the show was them going to school. And I was like, why just really now want to go back to school, but I have this really annoying ailment whereby I'm terrified of the outside. Like, I can't go outside, so what am I going to do? And I said to my mum, I want to go back to school. And my mum was like, you want to go back to school? Like, are you magically healed? Like, what do you mean you want to go back to school? Like, you can't. You don't leave the house. What do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out, though. So my mum goes to the school that I went to. Wait, no, why? So then my mum enrolls me in this new school. And obviously, and I go the first few days, but then I still am who I am. I didn't fix any of my problems overnight. Sabrina Carpenter did not wave a magic wand. I stopped being able to go. The fantasy wears off. I'm like, yeah, turns out I'm still fucked. Like, I still can't fuck. Like, you know? This school was in a different, like, district. I don't know. So they had access to this, I don't know what it was. So they had access to this, like, NHS-funded, like, school for the mentally ill. And they were like, oh, you're struggling. You can go here instead of coming here. You can go there and, like, get help. And they're all, like, trained to deal with you because we're not. And you'll get an education there. So they shipped me off to this other school. That was the wildest experience of my life. And anyway, blah, 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 blah. By the grace of God, after years of therapy and this very wonderful school, I got all the exams that I needed. I got my grades and I reintegrate into normal person life. I still have my quirks, but we can go outside. I go about my life for years, okay? By the age of 16, I'm back to normal. I'm chilling. Like, I'm in sick form. Life's good. Like, we're good. And then, because my good taste knows no bounds, obviously Sabrina Carpenter, her career flourishes over the years. And now she is world-renowned super pop star Sabrina Carpenter. And I love her new music. And I dick ride her harder than anyone else. I dick ride her harder than I would dick ride for, like, what is the example I'm trying to give? I've been riding her dick for so long, viciously riding it, like, and I've got a lot left in me to give, for sure. Not however. Like, I love her new music. It had been a while since I had re-listened, though, to her old albums. I was so knees deep in the Sabrina Carpenter fandom back in, like, 2016. I had a group of friends from the fandom. We are all still friends to this day. And they're like normal people. I've met all of them IRL now, but they are my internet friends. But we all stay in touch in this group chat. We barely speak, but, like, we still know each other. The other day, one of the girls sent in an edit of Sabrina Carpenter into the group chat, and it just sent me back into her old music. So I was listening to Eyes Wide Open, the 2015 Sabrina Carpenter album. The whole day I've been listening to it. Last night and today I've been listening to it. Anyway, fast forward to the current day. I'm re-listening to Eyes Wide Open because it got me through a tough time in my life before where I felt like it was a beginning. It was like I was stepping out of my comfort zone and being like, I'm gonna have a life if I have to do it with a clenched fist and fucking grind my teeth down to the gum and I don't know, like if I have to do this shit terrified, I'm gonna fucking do it. And that's what I did when I was 16, and I did it to the soundtrack of fucking Eyes Wide Open, of course. So lately I've been feeling a lot like I need some of her balls back. Like I need my teenage self's dick and balls back, because my god, like she had massive dick and balls, huge, and it shrunk over time, as they do. But I started re-listening to the album yesterday. Today I went to a flat viewing. It was almost perfect, like almost perfect. The area wasn't my favorite, but I also kind of don't care, because it was a bit more of it was a less bougie area to live, but I've actually discovered that's kind of what I want, because I'm just not trying to be one of those annoying people, but I don't know. Anyway, I see the flat. It's like almost perfect. The building is perfect. The only thing missing is like, it's kind of a shit view. I'm just looking into other people's windows, but it still gets a lot of light. The windows are incredible. The space is great. It's in my budget. But I wasn't inspired by it. I was just like, this would work. This would be great. I would be happy here. Am I inspired? No. But this is the closest I've got. And I have now been out of house and home for a month. So I'm kind of willing to take it at this point. I get in the Uber. So I see the flat. I say thank you to the woman. I get in my Uber. I'm like, okay, I'm going to think on it. I'm about to go back to listening to my music. I put my earphones in. And I'm like, I'm going to let Sabrina Carpenter decide for me. And I press play on, I think it was Will Be the Stars. Banger. My favorite, by the way. And I was like, okay, if she says the word yes or no first, whatever yes, if she says the word yes or no first in the song, and I was already like midway through the song from where I'd listened to it before, I was like, that will tell me if I should get this apartment or not. The second word she says after I press play was no. Tell me I'm fucking crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. I've come this far. Like, I've come this far. 12-year-old me knew something you bitches did not. And I worked hard enough. I went a very strange route, but my route led me to at least once getting to touch Sabrina Carpenter. So I can't be that far astray from my God-given divine path that I'm supposed to be on. She's my northern star, if you will. If you will. I get in the car, I ask her, okay, Sabrina Carpenter in 2015, should I take the flat? She says no. I say, you fucking got it. You have got it. Anything you fucking say goes. Anything she says goes. Anything she says goes. And I sat in the back of the car and I was like, okay, am I being crazy? Should I listen to that? I really liked that flat. I really need a place to live. That was a great flat. It's a responsible choice of place to live. It works in every way, and it's actually really nice as well. Like, it's a really nice place. And I was like, you know what? I've not asked music for the answer to anything ever, I don't think. I've never done what I just did there. I do it with other things. I'll be like, okay, if I see this in the world today, it'll mean that this isn't a good choice. Or if I see this word written somewhere today, I'll know this is a sign. I've never done it so blatantly where I'm like, okay, yes or no. And then Sabrina Carpenter from 2015 says no. She actually didn't say no. She said KNOW, but I'm taking it. She said no, and what she says goes. I trust her. She really is my northern star. Because had I not turned on that television that one random day in Florida, I don't know what my life would have become. Would I ever have gone to that school? Would I ever have gotten an education? Would I ever have met Millie, my best friend? Would I be here right now? Like, would I be doing this? Would I have a podcast? Do you know what I mean? So, because I do think that my formative years on Wattpad and Twitter, well, let's not say that. Let's redo that. I don't want them going looking. I do think my formative years on the internet, on fandom pages, it is my core character traits. It is. I'll say it. It is. Like, you're so impressionable at that age. And that was my impressions. Every day, all day, every day. So, yeah, anyways. Food for thought. Am I right? What the fuck is the point of today's episode? Well, I don't know. But that's just a little life update. I've listened to Sabrina Carpenter. She told me not to get the flat. So I am now still without home. Hence, we're still in these random locations. And I'm about to go to Europe. I say Europe because I'm going to Paris, London, and Copenhagen. Okay, I'm not just becoming American. I'm genuinely going all over Europe. all over. We're going to be on the road for a while. I'm kind of really fucking with it for some reason. I feel very free. Untethered, if you will. Like, I am truly just responsible for myself and one bag. I have two, but one is a carry-on, so that doesn't count. I'm backpacking, if you will. I have no backpack, but I'm backpacking for what it's worth with my Rimowa. Fuck you. Okay, on to the substance of this week's episode. Let's get into it. It is one of my favorite types of episodes this week. It is a submissions episode where you guys write in emails with your fucked up crazy little situations and I judge them from afar and sometimes say something kind. So this week we have, this girl wrote in this submission that captured my heart because it is so, like, the way she wrote it, I was just like, oh, bitch. Okay, so she starts the email off like this. I need an opinion, a different perspective. I can't sleep. I can't overthink anymore. And I genuinely don't know what to do next. So I read on. She says that the situation involves two people. One is her best friend that she's known for 10 years, but been best friends with for 3 years, and one is her ex-boyfriend. And basically, to sum it up, this girl is doing this thing called Erasmus, which, if you don't know, is actually a really cool thing to do. I wanted to do this, but I never did it. Is Erasmus what I think it is? Basically, I think you go abroad to teach English. I'm pretty sure that's what Erasmus is. I could be fucking wrong, but I know that it's an abroad study program of some form. So she talks about this boyfriend, this ex-boyfriend, as her forever boyfriend / situationship. Goes on to say he was never a faithful boyfriend and she never felt completely happy with him. She never got over the things she had to suffer because of him, but somehow, quote, we complemented each other and somehow we could never live without each other. We went through so many things that after 5 years, it was never possible to distance ourselves and never see each other again. I tried so many times, but there were so many toxic patterns that it was mentally impossible to handle. Unfortunately, he was also never someone I could imagine spending the rest of my life with, and I had nightmares about it. But somehow, it was so fucked up, and he was always still there. The tea of this whole piece is that her ex-boyfriend, who she's very, like, bonded with and has all this history with, may be hitting on her best friend, and her best friend may be entertaining it, and she knows this through text messages that she read. And it got me thinking about perspective when it comes to being in a relationship where there is a level of trauma bonding. Now, I never understood what trauma bonding was until literally like last month, because I understood it to be something where it's like you bond over common traumas, or you go through something super traumatic together and you feel like that's the only person who sees you in that experience, so you stay close to them. Which is, I think both can be true, but I think trauma bonding can also be, as humans, we attribute value to things we suffer for. Like, that's just fact. It's been studied. I did a podcast episode on it ages ago, but that was in the realm of, like, politics and why people sometimes won't change their long-standing beliefs if they've stood 10 toes on them for so long, even if they start to get the inkling that it's not right. The more strife that's gone into your belief system or your relationship with someone, the more perceived value that it has, even when that doesn't actually hold up. It has no more value just because you struggle to obtain it. And the quote, somehow it was so fucked up and he was always still there, so perfectly encapsulated something I've been grappling with recently, which is like, when you're in a bad relationship with someone, it's very easy to feel like things were good and then something went wrong, and if you try hard enough, you can make it work, you can figure out the problem, you can get that person back to the version of themselves they once were. And you perceive it to be something in the dynamic that's going wrong. Because if you just perceived them as a cruel person who was mistreating you because they don't give a fuck about you, well, you probably wouldn't stay then. So there's got to be at least a small belief, right, that when people stay in these bad relationships, whatever bad may mean, that it's somehow an us thing. There's an element of control you must have. Even if you don't believe that you're doing something wrong, it's like there's something that can be changed in this dynamic with this person that you love that's going to change the mistreatment or the ill treatment, whatever it might be, right? And the idea that they are staying through something hard, and I thought about how the idea that they, the other person in this relationship, assuming, right, that we're the innocent ones, right? That's always the place I'm speaking from because I've never done anything wrong in a relationship ever. But the idea that you're staying through something with this person and enduring it in the name of us, like they're enduring it, like it was so fucked up and he was always still there. The idea that it was fucked up, like no, change I think needs to be shifted into no, he was fucked up. It wasn't fucked up. He was fucked up. And you are enduring something. You are enduring in the name of us and in the name of love. He is not enduring. He is the fucked up thing. And like that perspective shift for me honestly changed a lot of my like trauma bonding of like past people that have been close to me. And that doesn't just extend to like romantic or sexual relationships. That extends to anybody that I've ever been close to where there's been this kind of a problem where I'm like, oh, you know, we're both trying to figure it out. We're both trying to make it work. We're both trying to find this solution. And sometimes that's true. But in cases like this, it's definitely not true. He is making you endure something. He is being unfair and unkind. He's not sharing the experience with you. I think that's the key thing, is a trauma bond can only be a bond if it's shared by both parties. But when have you ever really known men to do that? Like when do men stay through something that is filled with struggle and filled with compromise in the name of pure love, or in the name of your joy, in the name of, I'm so willing to struggle through this bad phase we're having with you because I love you and I'm committed to you. That's one thing. That is so obvious when that's the case. Like when people are in that kind of a situation, they usually know it, and people will be able to see it also. Like your friends would also be like maybe understanding if you were to be completely transparent with them. It's not to say that, but I think like I try not to come off as too much of like a man hater on this podcast for many reasons, but let's just all be real for like one fucking second. Men don't do that. Men en masse don't endure anything. They don't. Like they can't handle pain. They can't handle suffering. They don't understand the concept of compromise. They barely understand the concept of empathy. So how could they possibly get as far as fucking compromise? Because compromise requires compassion, and compassion requires a deep level of empathy and understanding and kindness. And it's just like, you've already, like in this specific example, he's already fucking other people or fucking around with other people, whatever he's doing. That's obviously not where this is coming from. Like the idea that you are in a mutual situation where you're both trying, where you're both staying because you just like each other, regardless of everything, you just still like each other and you still love each other, and it's like, yeah, it's fucked up, but we always come back to each other. No, you're going back to him. He literally, like, he's everywhere. You're there. He's not. He stops by. He's not always still there. He stops by. Like, that, I don't know how else to put it. And I know it's harsh, but I'm kind of making an example out of this one girl, poor girl, but like, I'm so indigested. Do you know what I mean? Like, and to get deeper into this specific example, because this girl's friend was texting the boy, and the texts were very like, he was making advances on her through text, and she was saying like, no, like, I don't think that we should do this, and he was like, come on, I know that you feel this way, blah, blah, blah. So it's unclear where the girl stands, but she's not shutting it down. And I thought about this for a while. And I thought, if she's being honest in her response to him, which means she genuinely has no interest in him in that way, then you are left with two possibilities, right? She doesn't want to hurt your feelings by telling you. Because remember, this girl found this out by sneakily reading the text messages. Unethical, yes. Necessary, yes. She does not want to hurt your feelings by telling you, number one. Choice number one. Or she likes playing around with him, doesn't really mean what she's saying, wants to keep him around as a friend because they have uses for each other, like he has a place to crash when she goes to the city. Doesn't want to have to cut him off. It's inconvenient for her to tell you, so she's not told you. But she's not going to fuck him. She has no interest in him in that way. But telling you would kind of put a spanner in her works. And since she doesn't want to fuck him anyway, she's just like, I just won't tell her. Now, if the case is that she doesn't want to hurt your feelings by telling you, which is the reason that she hasn't told you, that he's making moves on her, this boy that you've been in love with for how long? If the reason is that she doesn't want to hurt your feelings, then she's not valid, Loki, because she should tell you immediately as your friend. Because this is your experience, remember? Like, this is your person. This has been someone who is deeply involved in your life. And I think, let me tell you something that fucks me. Bothers the fuck out of me. I think that people, and this is such a complex, like, thing that I still can't wrap my head around. But barring extreme circumstances, I think people have a level. I don't often say people are entitled to anything. I think that people are more than entitled to the truth from the people in their immediate circle. Not just in the obvious way that that's true and we can all agree that that's true, but if I know something about my friend's ex and I know that they would really care about that information, change their perspective on certain treatment behaviors, on certain relationships based on this information, and maybe even change future choices based on this situation, but fuck future choices, if it would help them have a different perspective on something that they experienced, maybe to help them not repeat that, or to spot, oh, that was who that person was. I won't repeat that mistake. I didn't know they were that bad. Oh, I need to be more careful. Or to really get to experience something that they couldn't place. But whatever it is, if I have information that I think is important, I don't think it's mine to make the choice to not tell my friend. Does that make sense? Like, especially if I'm an active participant in it. I mean, that's crazy. But like, the idea that you can decide what to tell or not to tell your friend when no one else is going to have the opportunity to tell them that. If you're the only person, if you're the keeper of that information, like, I think it's genuinely really unfair. Okay, so then this other girl wrote in, talking about how she and her ex broke up 9 months ago. She's since started loads of new sports like tennis, Pilates, bar, and football. She's got a new job, changed her university degree, and is happy with her life. But she still thinks about her ex every day. She was convinced that he would come back and break no contact by now, but instead, he's met someone else. When he broke up with her because he was, quote, emotionally unavailable, they started dating a month after. He started dating the new girl only a month after they had broken up. He was her first boyfriend and first love. He completely broke my heart. He did some truly awful things. I don't want him back because I know I have to want better for myself. But I somehow thought that I would get my good karma. He put me through so much. I haven't met anyone who I actually like yet. I don't really want to date, blah, 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 blah. She finishes by saying, I'm proud of myself and how far I've come, but I can't help but ask myself why it is that he is the one in a long-term happy relationship. It feels like he won. My sister. Like, people. She says that he did her filthy and she might never be able to truly heal from what he did. And ultimately, she doesn't have the money for therapy. So she's had to work through it on her own, and it still hurts. Moreover, the fact that he clearly lied to me about the reason for breaking up with me, showing his lack of integrity and care for me in the relationship, on top of the fact that he did something so hurtful to me. Circling back to the, it feels like he won. The wonderful thing about this exact situation that I revel in is that I know how it feels to be like, oh my God, like they're happy and I'm not. They're fine and I'm fucking hurt. Here's one thing. You have not inflicted wounds upon them. I'm assuming, okay? Most people in these situations, like, you get fucked and you're like, shit. And then they go off and they fuck whoever and they look happy. They get into a new relationship. They don't really have to deal with the aftermath, especially if they were a terrible partner. But the sweet part is that it is impossible to escape who you are. You don't get to escape who you are. No one gets to escape who you are. Literally no one. Think of how hard it is to undo any of your less impressive traits. Like, it takes therapy, it takes consciousness, it takes work, energy. You have to pour a lot into changing the less fortunate attributes of yourself. Like, whether it be that you are an angry person or a sad person or a lazy person or a jealous person or a self-destructive person. Like, there's so many things that can be wrong with a person that are normal and that you go through life and you try and unlearn and undo, and it takes years. It's your life's work is to constantly find new things about yourself and ask yourself, is this who I want to be? Who put that in me? Is it something do I want it there? Do I agree with it? Do I like the way it makes me feel? No, yes. Like, that's like everyone on earth will ask those questions. And he is not exempt, and that is the nice part, because whatever darkness is in a person that makes them treat a relationship that they are in with a lack of integrity, with a lack of respect, with a lack of care, to use or abuse someone in any way, the things that have to be fucked up about you for you to do that to another person, like, In ancient Greece, they had 8 different types of love, and one of the most important types of love was, let me find it, hold on. Okay, it was called philatia. That sounds penisy, but whatever. Self-love or self-care can be seen in the architecture of Hadrian's villa in Tivoli, whatever that is. Hadrian had a small, no one cares, bear with, Googling it. I wish I had my clipboard with me because I wrote all this down a couple weeks ago because I was bored. Okay, philatia, in ancient Greece was considered the foundation for loving others. So self-love was considered the foundation for loving others, allowing individuals to embrace their inner beauty, heal, and cultivate higher self-esteem. Aristotle argued that all friendly feelings for others are an extension of a person's love for themselves. It is essential for well-being and is the base for other forms of love. Essentially, if you do not have a good relationship with yourself, and if you do not show yourself good, healthy self-love, you cannot extend that outward. So for anyone to be in a relationship, and I cannot stress how much no one is exempt from this, for any human being to be in a relationship with another person, be that a friendship, a family relationship, a community relationship, or a romantic relationship, and for them to treat another poorly is a direction of like the base layer of love, which is of the self. And how can you possibly win at anything in life if you don't have love for yourself? Nothing has joy, nothing has purpose if you don't enjoy existing as yourself. Like, there is never an escape from that. You are with yourself from the second you are born to the second you die, and possibly afterwards. And if someone can, and these people can spend their whole lives hating that. Like, and it's painful to be in an abusive relationship or a relationship where you're treated poorly and there's wounds from that. And very possibly the reason that you tolerated that relationship is because your self-love isn't where it needs to be either. But rest assured, like, just because someone treats you badly in a relationship and then the relationship ends, and however abruptly they get with another person, at its core, the very thing that caused them to treat you the way that they did is the very same thing that causes them to treat themselves in the exact same way, whether they know it or not. And therefore it will extend to whoever they date next. You cannot escape that. Because it just, like, if you see where it comes from, you see, like, there is no way around it unless you go right to the fucking core of it. And so not only is his new relationship not going to be a happy one, and hopefully his new girlfriend will realize that sooner rather than later, not only is his new relationship not going to be a happy one, even if it looks very happy for the first 3 months, everyone can fake something for 3 fucking months. I can even fake something for 3 fucking months. But, like, not only is it unsustainable, but he still has to wake up as himself every day. And imagine being trapped in the body of him. Imagine being stuck the way he treated you. Imagine being stuck in his flesh cage and being subjected to a life where that's the way that you treat yourself every day, the same way that he treated you, with the same lack of, like, honor and respect. And what was the word that you used? Integrity. Like, imagine how much worse that is. And I know it sucks to be in the position where someone has done a number on you and you're like, okay, how do I fucking rewire my brain now because you fucked with it, and, like, how do I rebuild my life, and how do I heal this wound that you fucking caused? And a lot of the work starts in the same place. Why did you accept that? Number one, because your relationship to yourself, much like his, is the most important one of your entire life. And it's frustrating. Even if you can heal the relationship with yourself to the point where you will not endure something like that again, you still then have these external wounds that someone put on you from the way they treated you, and that can still really hurt. But I would so much rather burn, like, I would genuinely rather fucking burn, I would, than be soulless, than, like, lack passion and love and lack integrity. I would rather someone set me on fire, my, like, the external part of my body, like the parts that people can wound with their own mistreatment, like, that's like my flesh. And it hurts, and it's going to take time to heal, and I'm going to have to figure out how to not let you do that again, yes. But like, I have something in here, and it's very special, and it doesn't let me mistreat other people. And it knows, even when it stumbles and falls and makes mistakes, it does know what I deserve. Even if it doesn't always enforce it, even if it doesn't always know how or what it looks like, even if it has been Trojan horsed a few times. My butt's going numb, I've been sat crisscross for an hour. But fundamentally, I would rather be hurt than be somebody who hurts someone else. Because those are two very different things. And he has to be him. Like, he has to wake up with himself every morning, and you don't. So there's no way he won and you lost. That's crazy, even though you hurt more right now. But again, those wounds that like happen to the outside of you, that you endure through life, they are very different to what he has. Does that make sense? His is like, if he was a tree, his wound is right in his roots and in the core. Yours is on the bark, and that still hurts. But fuck it. You get the privilege of being you get the privilege of being hurt, you get the privilege of relearning to love yourself and of not letting that come back into your life. And then she said this other thing that resonated with me, and it was that she said, I really loved him, and he was a deeply flawed person, but I saw so much good in him, and I don't regret that because that's the kind of person I've always been. Good, don't regret it. But bitch, I've learnt this the fucking hard way recently, and that is that when you see good in people, it is because you are good. Like, the amount of projection that we do as people, the amount of assumption upon intentions, because that is the way that we see the world, the way the world makes sense to us, is not something that you should try and undo so as to better predict other people's moves. You shouldn't become your enemy just so that you can think like them and they can't get back to you, or they can't hurt you again. But what I have learned is that being someone who just sees the good in other people, whether it is there or not, is not as romantic as it sounds on paper. It really isn't, because I think you have to have a very strong philosophy of life to even really understand how much you want to abide by this. Oh, I saw the good in them. Because sure, there are people who have treated me terribly, right? And the way that I have excused them in the moment, not anymore, in the moment, was to be like, well, you were born innocent. You weren't born evil. Things happened to you along the way, and how could I not have empathy for that? It's so unfair that you were treated in this way as a baby and I fucking wasn't. I was loved from the second I came onto this earth. I was loved and I was cared for and I was fed and I was warm and I was held. And you weren't, and so how could I ever judge the things that you do now that I deem as cruel just because you have had it harder than me? And I know that underneath all of that, when you were born, you came here innocent, and I'm gonna fucking show you that if it's the last thing I do. And as lovely as that is, it is just stupid. That is the best word I can put to it. It is stupid. Some people are not capable of doing the work to get to the version of them that you are able to see. And it doesn't mean it's fair. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you have to condemn them and call them evil, but it does mean you have to fucking leave them alone. You have to leave them alone. You have to protect your soul, because if you have one that is pure and does see the good in people and wants to assume best intentions because you harbor the best of intentions, you need to protect yourself, because the world is actually a very fucking scary place, okay? And people do not harbor the best of intentions. And even if they do deep down, doesn't mean they're capable of enacting it, doesn't mean that they really care to enact it. Even if they care to enact it, doesn't mean they're capable of it. You have to implement boundaries around this kind of stuff. I never did, and it nearly killed me multiple times. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding. This shit is soul sucking, because these people will suck the soul out of your body because they don't fucking, just kidding, but like, without proper boundaries in place, when you will just hurt yourself more. And one day, if you keep going, you won't be able to offer that kind of love to anyone anymore, because you will become worn down, and you will become the person that you were trying to save from themselves. You will become them. Their intentions, their behaviors will become normal to you. Your brain chemistry will literally change and you won't notice it. And it'll happen over years. But it's actually not funny. Like, I spent many years, I think, romanticizing, or like, I spent a lot of time in my life priding myself off of how well I could love someone. became ingrained in my identity that I could love someone through distance, through time, through space, through changing. I changed everything about myself and I still fucking love you. And like, it was so involuntary that it became just part of my personhood. And I was like, well, it wasn't a conscious thing, but then it did, and it became something I was kind of proud of. I don't think that this kind of love, like this kind of seeing so much good in these deeply flawed people as itself, without action around it, like that's not a bad thing. Like I don't think it's a bad trait, but I think that without treating it properly, it is. It reflects a lack of self-honor. I hate the word self-respect because it just like telling someone they have low self-respect, like it just sounds like derogatory, but like self-honor I think is a better word. Like you're not devoted to yourself, you're devoted so much to someone else that you discard yourself in the process. That's not fair. And like, you have to protect yourself, no one else will. And so in my life, like, so I thought like, what does that look like? And in my experience, I think, to put it simply, it would look like acknowledging someone has flaws and acknowledging that you feel love for them and see good in them and see past them, and respecting that your body feels love for them regardless of the flaws, because that can all exist and it's just neutral. It just is. Like that's just, doesn't have, you don't have to get rid of it to not act on it, and instead just understand that like martyrdom in the name of loving someone else, it's not going to help them. It really won't. And it's definitely not going to help you. It's coming up to 4 p.m. and I have to go to JFK in a few hours. Oh, I don't want to. What if I don't want to? And what's crazy is it's a night flight, and then when I get off my night flight, it's just, I have a layover in France. Oh my god, champagne problems, I'm so sorry. But then when I get off my flight, why do I have a layover in France? No, I don't have a layover in France, that's a different trip, lol. When I get to France, it's going to be 1 p.m. I leave here at 10 p.m. When I get to France, it's going to be 1 p.m. I have to go straight into a fitting. I don't even get to shower first. Thankfully, I've shaved my legs already. Because yesterday, I did go to a fitting, and I had, like, I don't think I've shaved my legs since, like, Christmas. Maybe, like, early January was the last time. I just forgot I even had legs. Like, I'm not even kidding. I hadn't shaved my armpits, my arms, or my legs. Or my anything else, for that matter. And I went to this fitting, and I just genuinely had forgotten that I'm, like, a vessel. And they made me try on 3 dresses, and I was so embarrassed. But then I was like, I'm actually way too grown to be embarrassed about body hair. So I stopped. But I also was like, it's too deeply ingrained in me. I have not finished disentangling it all from my brain yet. Therefore, I still felt ugly. I know it's wrong. But I still felt ugly in the dress because I had hairy legs, because they got me. They're mind controlling me. Yeah, so working on it, but fuck off. Not perfect, right? Anyway, I'm gonna go. Peace and love. Thank you for watching. I love you. Guess I'm gonna go to Paris now. I'll see you guys in Paris. So, love you. Bye.